Well, as someone who is constantly striving to evolve and better myself, I'm always looking for new ways to see the world and appreciate where I'm at. But as many of you can probably relate, it can be so difficult to escape the cycle of intrusive thought. So, joining us with 4 steps to shift our perspective is motivational speaker and best-selling author Sherry Elise. So good to see you.
Amazing to see you.
Oh,
Grateful to be.
well, I have to say, congratulations on your TED Talk, which has been received so well. How to Escape the Prison of Your Mind. And that was a hook right there. So let's talk about the benefits of perspective shifting as we get older.
Absolutely. So I like to look at perspective as kind of a filter, right? And we talk about filters so much these days. It's a filter that we see life through. And oftentimes our beliefs are what has created this filter. And we live seeing through this filter and we don't even realize that we're doing that. And so when you realize that your life is in discord or disharmony, it is time to shift your perspective. And what that'll do, you'll have healthier relationships, you'll have a healthier relationship with yourself, you'll have, more inner peace, happiness, all of it.
Yeah, it's so important. And it takes work. I think that's the other thing that people have to remember. It's not just something that happens right away. So I'm curious, what's a major life shift that's happened for you when you changed your perspective?
Well, as I've shared before on the show and with you, is I come from a background of childhood trauma, and I only saw the world through the lens of shame and guilt and fear. And once I realized that the entire world, that there was a different perspective and different opportunities for me to think of life through, my trauma became my greatest teacher for me. Things like hair loss that I deal with, those imperfections, I now see them as the most beautiful parts of me. I used to think of myself as the dark cloud, only bad luck would happen. And once I realized that that was just the way that I was looking at life through, I started to create more opportunities for myself and life turned around.
Yeah, and that's so true. Is once you make that little shift, it's incredible how life kind of just starts opening up for you. So let's go through your 4 tips to starting the shift. And you start with recognizing what our limiting beliefs are. I think a lot of people hear limiting beliefs and they go, what exactly is that?
Right. So, we can feel, like I said, like that there's something off in our lives and we're not quite sure what that is. Maybe we're having trouble in our relationships, our career, we always get stuck in a rut. And so we need to do is to start thinking about which areas of our lives we're having those challenges and those glitches. And I like to think of it as a factory reset. And by literally just looking at where those areas are, you start to see what are some of the beliefs that you have in those particular areas. So if it's finances, maybe you believe that you always have to work so hard for your money or it's hard to come by. And so just the recognition of a belief that you have that does not serve you begins the transformation of changing your perspective.
And then that goes into your next step that you have is you want us to disprove those limiting beliefs. So how do we do that?
Well, first, let's just start really quickly with everybody wants to be right. I
Yes.
talk about that in my TED Talk. And so we spend so much time trying to prove that the ways that we think that we're right, we'll go and we'll see it be in a relationship and we'll say, oh, see, they weren't trustworthy when we had trust issues to begin with. So I'm flipping that on its head. I'm saying, if you have limiting beliefs, I want you to go out and find evidence to disprove that. Find the people that are trustworthy, find the opportunities for you. So it really is just about, if you want to be right, disprove yourself.
Okay. All right. Well, you also say, Sherry, that there's power in thinking one new thought. Why is that? And give us an example.
Well, our beliefs are based off of our repetitive thinking again and again and again, whether it's from something that somebody else has told us or our own life experiences. And so we hear often about, changing your mindset, think a new thought, but it is so true. If you could just every single day, if you look at your coworkers in a certain way, maybe it's just changing one thought about the way that you see them, about the way that they're showing up. And when you begin to change with one new thought, you realize, oh, maybe they aren't that bad, or maybe the situation isn't that bad. Very easy step.
Yeah, it is easy and something that we can all do today. So that's your task, everybody that's watching.
Yes.
Okay, Sherry. Lastly, before we let you go, what's one final tip that you have for us?
Well, as I said, I was stuck for many years within this limiting perspective of my life. And so it wasn't until I realized that the world wasn't against me. People weren't against me. When I took the driver's seat of my life and I took responsibility and accountability for my life and how I show up for it, the world changes. Your perspective changes. You're no longer a victim to life. You become the driver and the force behind your life.
We all have the power within, and
Yes.
it's all about the mind and our thoughts. So thank you, Sherry Elise, so much. Congrats again on your TED Talk. You can see the full TED Talk on her website. And of course, check out her book, Love Yourself Happy. Have a great weekend,
You
Sherry.
too. Thank you.